June 18, 2025. St. Petersburg, Russia's cultural heart now becomes the stage for one of Indonesia's most strategic diplomatic missions this year. President Prabowo Subianto has arrived at Pulkovo International Airport, responding to a formal invitation from Russian President Vladimir Putin. But why now, and what's truly at stake in this high-level meeting between two leaders from opposite sides of the geopolitical map? At exactly 5:50 p.m. local time, President Prabowo touched down in St. Petersburg. He was received with full ceremonial honors by Russian Deputy Prime Minister Denis Manturov, along with top Russian officials and Indonesia's own Foreign Minister, Subianto. This wasn't a mere formality. Manturov's presence in the military honor guard signals Russia's serious diplomatic intent. As the national anthems of Indonesia and the Russian Federation echoed across the tarmac, Prabowo stood alongside Manturov, facing rows of uniformed troops and senior officials. Among them, Senator Ilyasov Makanov, Russian Ambassador Sergei Tolchanov, and Governor of St. Petersburg, Alexander Beglov. From Indonesia, there were Cabinet Secretary Teddy Indrawijaya, Ambassador Jose Tavares, and Defense Attaché Air Commodore Jatmiko Adi. After inspecting the troops and witnessing a short defile ceremony, President Prabowo left the airport to begin his official program in Russia, centered on a bilateral meeting with President Putin, scheduled for the following day, June 19. This meeting is expected to reinforce and expand the strategic partnership between Indonesia and Russia, covering areas such as trade, defense, energy, and geopolitical alignment. But before diplomacy, there was something else, a quieter yet deeply human moment. Outside the hotel where he would spend the night, President Prabowo was greeted by dozens of enthusiastic members of the Indonesian diaspora in St. Petersburg. Word of his arrival had traveled quickly. Many Indonesians had gathered on the sidewalks, waving flags and holding up phones, hoping to see their president. Rather than go straight to his room, President Prabowo walked over to meet them, shaking hands, exchanging greetings, and even posing for selfies. Some had brought their children. Others had waited in the summer evening chill for hours. To them, this wasn't just a political visit. It was a rare connection with home. And yet, the political stakes remain high.
Lego, you want Lego? Okay. Hey. Get this boy Lego. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, terima kasih. Terima kasih. yang Papua, Papua.
Oke.
Adik.
Saya Ambon, Pak.
Ambon.
Bapak saya dari Jawa Barat.
Namamu apa?
Aku Marga Xiaomi, Pak.
Xiaoming.
Iya, Pak.
Xiaoming tuh dari Sumatera Utara.
Iya, bukan Pak. Saya dari Siborong-borong, Pak.
Kemarin.
Saya dari Aceh, Pak.
Horas maju-ajua.
Orang maju-maju.
Bisa bahasa Indonesia? Sedikit. Oh iya.
Kita mengajar biar kita lupa bahasa.
Guru bahasa Indonesia.
Saya guru bahasa, memang linguis, Pak.
7 bahasa, Pak.
Lu apa kerja sini?
Saya dulu dokter, cuma sekarang
Dokter. Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs. Coordinating Minister for Food. Very important man. And this is the Minister of Agriculture, Pak Amran. Minister for Investment. And the head of our Sovereign Wealth Fund. Minister of Education, Science and Technology.
On June 19th, President Prabowo is scheduled to attend the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum SPIEF 2025. This is not a ceremonial gathering. SPIEF is where heads of state, CEOs, and global investors gather to set the tone for trade, energy, and political cooperation across continents. For Indonesia, being here signals more than just presence. It signals positioning. So, what does this visit mean? Is Indonesia simply reaffirming old diplomatic ties, or is it seeking leverage in an increasingly polarized world? This visit is not just about ceremonial protocols or polite dinners. It is about navigating power, principle, and positioning in a shifting global order. As Prabowo steps deeper into the arena of global diplomacy through the gates of Moscow's closest ally, what role will Indonesia choose to play? Will it remain a cautious middle power or rise as a strategic broker between East and West? That is the question.